So, got a lot going on tonight, obviously. But one of the things that I've been wanting to do is assemble this teeny tiny itsy bitsy little Spacerail coaster. And there's a number of reasons that I'm going to do this, but let me go ahead and make sure I'm set up over here. Where am I at? Here we go. All right, so one of the things that I've wanted to do this for is I have the most difficult one already, and it's already underway. It's actually just behind the desk here. But I wanted to put together this really simple one because the whole reason I'm putting together these space rails, other than the fact that they are super duper 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 fun, is that I'm planning a little project almost for work. And this is super tiny. The base is just these two pieces. So it's very portable. And the Spacerail 9 is on a board right now that is 4 feet by 2 feet. So it's pretty big. And it's also about 2.5 feet tall. So I am not about to just throw that in the car or anything. So have you ever seen Spacerail before? I put one together as a kid way back a long time ago. We're not going to talk about how long that was ago, but it was called Space Warp, and it was made by a company you may have heard of, Bandai. And but this is actually kind of the same thing, and it's easier to find, and they're being manufactured now. And of course, I got the glow-in-the-dark one because, of course, glow-in-the-dark. The other fun thing, it's totally not what I'm printing right now, but I have some glow-in-the-dark green 3D filament that's arriving, and I'm kind of tempted to reprint all of, hang on, sorry about that, reprint all of these little kind of black pieces to make the whole thing glow. It might just be really crazy. I'm getting used to this camera, so you'll have to excuse me a little bit. So I'm gonna see how far we get with this little guy tonight. I'm gonna probably be setting pieces back and forth, but just to kind of show you what's in here, you've got your little base pieces. The hardest one, the one that I'm looking at, and you can't see it's behind me, has about 20 of these, to give you an idea of how much different size. And these just go end to end for this little tiny Spacerail. So I'm going to set that over here. We're going to look at all the parts. This, I need to find a C-cell battery for. I don't think I even have any C-cells in the house, but you know. Anyway, have you ever seen Spacerail before? I've described it to a few people, and half of them understand what it is, and then half doesn't. So these are the steel supports, and also the little they're like ball bearings. Excuse me, that was way too difficult to get out of there. And I happen to have over here, surprising no one, in the 3D printed little caddy, I have a whole bunch of these because, well, you know. So the thing that I'm going to make this for work is there's a program called Ignition. It's made by a company called Inductive Automation, and it's used to run, it's a SCADA, which is a supervisory control and data acquisition, which is a really fancy way of saying it's the thing that runs your factory and that collects the data from your factory. And I wanted to learn more about Ignition by making a little itty bitty little factory, adding some sensors and things like that, popping that sensor data through Node-RED, and getting it into the Maker edition of Ignition. So, also, who doesn't love a marble run? Seriously. All right, so I'm going to put that over here. Got not a lot of space. So these are our supports. I think something may or may not have, nope, it didn't fall out of there. Okay, so we've got our little things. We also have, the reason this has a battery is this drives the little elevator, which is right here. Hang on. There we go. So this little elevator. So this thing will just run. Now, one of the things that people complain about Spacerail, and this is super legit as far as a complaint goes, is this is noisy. So there are a number of things on Thingiverse that you can print that make it not so noisy. So, and I might actually end up upgrading the little motor in there. I have servos and little steppers and stuff sitting around. So as you can see, we've got a few steps ahead of us. Sorry about the glare. I lost a viewer. Feel free to say hello if you are there. So we've only got just a few pieces, and this looks really similar to the original Bandai instructions. And one of the things I remember about when I was a kid putting these together is that you really need to make sure that the rack stays parallel, that the rail stays parallel, excuse me, and that you, oh, not opening this right, that you use plenty of those little clips that hold it together. And I have 3D printed extras. So anyway, let's get going. I'm going to start on this. I need a bigger desk, clearly. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. All right. What is this? Happy holidays. 15% off. Oops, valid through 2020. I believe that has passed. Well, I appreciate the sentiment. And I noticed that these are some pieces that we're going to need right away. All right, off we go. So, our first order of business. Oh, this poor table. Oh my gosh. As we need to set these two little pieces together. So we're going to create our base. And there we go. Oh, and if you're wondering what I'm 3D printing, it's a really cool thing. You've ever seen a strand beast? It's a mechanical walking machine. All right, so I've got those together, but now I've got to really make sure that they stay together. And there are these two little connectors. So I'm going to put one here. And I'm doing this exactly like the instructions. And doing one here. There we go. I'll probably stream for about an hour. You know, I need to hop over on Twitter for just a second. Because pretty sure we can get some fun here. All right. Pardon me, and I appreciate you waiting. At least you can watch the 3D printer, right? All right. Let's get us some friends over here. I will definitely get somebody to edit this. Okay, so we've got our base already created, and now it's starting to get serious. I just love the graphics on these. They're so vintage. I wonder, there's also some not so great translations in here too. So a few times it's kind of like, okay, I gotta read this a few times to get things going. All right. Okay. So we've got that done. Step one complete. Now we need to put together a whole bunch of these little assemblies. And when I did this for the level 9 one, it actually took me a couple of nights, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. but we do need to be careful as to which parts we use. And these are the little elevator guards that keep the little ball bearing from flying off into oblivion, where only later will you find it with a vacuum cleaner and ruin your day and your vacuum. Yeah. So now that we've covered that, we've got a number of different things. So these are our little rail holders. We're not going to need these yet, so I can put these back in the box. I don't have a lot of space here. Okay, we do need these little guys. This is a arm sheath that looks like a little, it's like a little bead basically. It's like a bead. And let's see, there's two different kinds of, oh, these are sorted out a little differently. Okay. These are super important. You need these to like kind of lock everything together. They call them a wrench, which is kind of interesting. Okay. And what do we got here? And then there's two kinds of ends. So what kind of confused me is that there's a few of those mixed up in here that might just be a mistake, or they gave me some extras. All right, so the difference between these is actually very important. So one type of these will fit on those steel tubes, and then the other kind won't. Okay, they appear to be mixed up. We're gonna have to really pay attention. So here's the one that, you see how it's like really kind of flat compared to this one. You can see how it's kind of, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see here. This one's flat and this one's round. So this one will fit around the steel pipe. This one will not. And they're both useful to have, but we need to not mistake one for the other. So we need to make 15 pieces with the little extension arm. So I'm going to need to have the circular one here, rather here. Then I'm going to have the little arm sheath, or like an extender really. So we have that. It's facing away. I'm going to put this here. Then we can have the one that's flat here. Okay. And then I'm going to get one of those little wrenches and one of these little folders we didn't talk about yet, but these are the ones that hold the rail up basically. All right, so round, flat, here, and now I'm going to take one of these little wrench dudes. I'm going to start it upright. It's actually kind of hard to do without well, looking at it and like not looking at it, and then there we go, and it's locked in place. So now we're ready to have this as kind of a sub-assembly. Okay, so I need to make 14 more of those, which is actually not that big of a deal. I'm going to start using those little extra ones in there just because. Oh, these are all mixed in. Come on, Spacerail. What are you doing? You're making us pay attention. All right. So round arm thingy, flat rail holder, and little wrenchy thing. Okay, two. You know I was going to do that. Okay, so here we go. Round, excuse me. Oh, I've got my brain all twisted around. Excuse me. All right. go. Now we need a flat one. Every time I think, oh, well, there's just one or two mixed up in there, I find more that are definitely not in there for a reason. Okay. Do, 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 do. How's the audio on this, if you're listening? New 1, 3. All right. Less talky, more makey. I cannot believe these are mixed up. Oh, Spacerail, why? Also, the other thing, they don't really mention it in the instructions, but the little arm thingies, one side twists, the other side does not. And it doesn't really matter which one it is, but I like to put the non-twisting side toward the part that's going to be next to the pole, just so I always know that it's going to be there. So it's predictable. So, excuse me, where's my brain? It's one of those days. Alright. This is why I have music for you guys. Alright, so I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. We are 1/3 of the way there. Okay, that's a perfect pair. Alright. Normally I'd be listening to podcasts and stuff with this, but I ran out of new episodes that I want to listen to, so here we are. Doing stuff. I would put my face on there, but I've been on a lot of calls today, so I'm kind of done with being on camera. I'm sure that's not great for my stream, but whatever. Ah! Had a couple different meetings today, all very good, no complaints. Great, 7. I think the reason that this is getting twisted around is mainly I'm thinking about it kind of in 2 different dimensions at the moment. How I see it, how it looks on camera. So somebody's on Slack. I've also got way too many computers on this desk. What is going on? Let's see. Who liked this? All right. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna bother my nice friends from work. Here we go. Sorry about that. Right. Okay. As we were. Got 8 of these down. And if they didn't give me enough of these, that's not a problem either, because I have 3D printed even more of them. So 9. If you're lucky, at some point I will tell you old people stories about the internet. Would that interest you all in the slightest? If not, that's fine too. I totally understand. Okay. Let's see here. I do appreciate you watching, even if you are a spammer. I hope you're not. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've got 5 more to make. Easy peasy. That's why I wanted to do this tiny little set, so that I can go ahead and start testing some of my ideas for sensors and Node-RED. And there's like a whole kind of growing plan / idea I have for this concept. So in a way, this first one is a metaphor for, like, let's say somebody opens a small manufacturing facility, and then they're like, oh wow, this is really great, let's open another one and a bigger one. So that's going to be the level 9 one, because I will already know what I'm doing at that point, and I have the idea that I may have some sensors which will help me tune and set up the level 9. That's really kind of a big piece of the goal, because there are some very difficult, twisty, swirly whirly things that some people, and very few people, have gotten to work correctly. But most people give up and will take a few of the loops out, and I really don't want to do that, because even if no one else can tell, I will know. And that would be less fun. We don't want that. All right, here we go. Okay, one more, and we have an extra. That's good. Sometimes I've got really strong fingers, so there can be a risk of me just snapping things. It's not good. It's just the way it is. All right. Also, they may have just counted these wrong. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so we've got our 15 little arms. We've got our, looks like we have almost a perfect, we've got a bunch of these. That's interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to put all the spare pieces together just in case we need them. And then we have these, which I'm expecting, because we need to put these onto the rails themselves. So, okay, step 2, complete. All right, step 2 complete. Now we get to put together the elevator. And I apologize, again, I don't have the C-cell battery, so I don't really think we're going to absolutely necessarily finish this little thing tonight. We might get close. If we do, then I will be back on Thursday with it, so we'll see. And I actually found my like stash of webcams, so if it's running nicely enough, I'll set it up for you and we can just watch it and listen to nice music. That'd be great. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in a little bag. Or not, let's see. I had a... Oh boy, there's parts everywhere now. Luckily for you, I've already put so many of these little guys together a million years ago in the 80s. So we need to find our ruler. And once again, fortunately for you, I already have it handy. So we're going to need our centimeters. Sorry, Americans, we're going to be using the metric system. La-di-da. And let's see here. I see you people liking my tweet, but you're not coming over here, so like, yeah. Okay. When I put together the Strand Beast, I'll do some streams about that too, but it's going to be huge. So that's why that's not a small printer. I know it's hard to kind of get a sense of scale with it. It's actually a very big Delta 3D printer, which is ridiculous, and that's why I have it. So I need to find, oh, first try. It's almost like I'm good at the metric system. Truth. So here we go. We're going to put this in the little gearbox, which is going to be wobbly. I'm expecting that. It's okay. And I also know that it's to attach. Well, no, we'll get that later. All right. So we got this little dude. And then we are going to add our little elevator helixes. I do believe that these are some of the little thingies that, oh, this is a good sized bag for those little, you know what, I'm not, that, all right, okay. Now one of the things is you want to make sure you start with the correct side down. So there's a part here, they've got some like flanges across the top and not across the bottom. I apologize for the light. I need to pull some other lights over here, but this one's actually aesthetically pleasing, so you know. Let's see here. Who else can I troll with my stream? Da. Let's see here. Okay. So I guess most of this video chatter is going to be about me deciding whether or not I want to bother my friends and coworkers on Slack or not. All right. So one of the big clues, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but there's little things that stick up here and there's little things that stick up here. So they also plug in down there, and that wobbles around, and I don't like that, but that's part of the magic of Spacerail. All right, I just gotta load these up like a bunch of little beads and make sure that they snap together. And I need to remember to get a C-cell battery tomorrow. Actually, I need a whole bunch of them because the Spacerail 9 has three elevators, but 2 of them are powered. One is this crazy, like, they call it a free fall. Look at that, I almost did it wrong. Shame on me. Okay. Oh, I do need to get the lighting better in here. It's great for, like, me. Maybe it's the dark table. Okay. Actually... Oh, hey, let's do that the right way, why don't we? And not pull the whole thing apart. Okay. And then cannot leave any space between the gearbox. Okay. I don't know if we actually want to have that last one on there or not. Oh, by the way, I set up a bunch of, there's little things that pop up if you subscribe. Ooh. I tested it out. So you can pretend, there we go. All right, so now obviously we need to support this because it's a mess. So we need to get 3 more of, super easy to measure now. And we're gonna put them in the little holes. 1, 2, 3. I bet they gave us an extra little doohickey. They did. All right, well, we'll put that in our spare parts bag, which is not growing appreciably, and that's good. If it was really growing appreciably, I would be a bit concerned. All right, what have we got now? Elevator parts, hooray! I do want to see, there will probably be a, yes. I remember this from Spacerail's past. We've got a diagram about where we're going to put the little supports. So we've got one right by the base, one up just a little bit, and one close to the top. So I'm going to not mangle these nice instructions. Thank you very much. And we're going to open these up. All right. And we're going to make sure we have them in the right direction too. Actually, I think they're going to be the same way. So one of the things that I like about this, and I'm going to be possibly, the other cool thing about this being a teeny tiny itsy bitsy little thing is that I can add onto it. It's got a whole lot going on with itself, but what if I were to add one of those cool, like, you know, you ever see the little coin drops where there's that long, like almost infinity spiral that goes around? Okay, so we're gonna make sure, put this, it's really the only right way to go. So I'm gonna head straight down to the bottom. And we got that. Now, it's time to get the old metric system back out. And we're gonna measure. So like I gave a demo about machine learning a few months ago, and I was like, don't make me do public math, and what do you know? I ended up doing some public math, and I didn't die. All right, so we're gonna go about 4.5 centimeters, except why don't I measure from the base of that? So we're gonna go 3.5 centimeters from here. I'm gonna hit my lamp, that's gonna be real cool. All right, I'm gonna just leave my finger right there. So I have a general idea, and then we can make some fine adjustments later. Actually, I just sort of memorized where it is, and we will make the fine adjustments later. Yes. Or I can just slow down and do it right the first time. Mwahaha. Okay. Here we go. Time to measure. I should have brought the little ruler. Oh, that was actually really close. I used to do a lot of very tiny machining many years ago, for like 10 years. So I'm pretty good at just estimating stuff. This one I will just measure from the top when we get there. So there we go. Just kind of putting that together. Sounds like upstairs neighbor is closing things down for the night, or maybe getting himself a snack. I hope he's having a good evening. He's a good dude. Alright. Well, I'll measure it from... Alright, so I'm going to get about 11 centimeters. Well, okay, overshot it a little bit. But not by too much. This is an important one because this is where it's going to drop back in. And if we have it down too low, then it's not going to have enough momentum to carry it around the whole thingy. Okay. And now we put that little lid on. And then we'll get the first I like this because this brings it right in line once you get it all stuffed on there. Hello. You gotta get 4 of these little things aligned, which, as you can see, takes just a little bit of attention. Now our elevator is almost ready. That was so much faster than the giant one I had to put together for the other one. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to add the little rail stands. And they're going to go... Wow, this is terribly translated. But when has that ever stopped me? Exactly never. Sometimes you just need to be creative. Okay, looks like I'm only putting a few and not all on these. I'm going to want to situate this so that it's just like the diagram. And I'm going to want to make sure that I don't knock everything off the back of the table. These are the challenges. These are the real challenges, yes. Okay, so we need 4 of these little rail pieces. This is why they have those little holes. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so the first one is going to go, hey now, that's not lining up in the same way. Uh-oh. We may have to switch all this around, but that's fine. That's part of the joy of Spacerail. So like this one is correct, but these two are not. But it's on the top, so guess what? It's got to come off. So this was not completely obvious from the diagram. Again, part of the joy of Spacerail. I'm not mad at it, it's just the nature of the game. I was thinking about crafts and crafting and skills and practice and experience and, you know, stuff like that. Now, I need it to have the outlet here. So there we go. Alright. And these are all going to be the same orientation. There's no mention of this in the instructions. So if you do decide to assemble Spacerail, prepare yourself. This will get you at some point. So now we want to make sure to do the same thing again. And this one I believe was 3.5 centimeters from the other. We'll check it again and make sure that that is correct. Just a little bit of measuring. On a teeny tiny desk. It's not even a desk, it's kind of a side table. Okay. So 3.5. Yeah, bring that right down. There we go. Alright, almost done. No big thing. Okie dokie. And the last one, which we had actually gotten correctly the first time. But since it was the one on the top, you know, it is what it is. Alright. So about 11 from that second one. I'm going to bring it down a little bit without pushing the other one. There it is. All right. Now we get to put the lid back on, and everything is a lot less wobbly. Now we can set things up correctly. If we hadn't done this reassembly step, everything would be less fun. So here we are. Now, oh goodness, I am so sorry about that. We're doing this step here, which means adding these little arms, and we're only going to add a few of them. So I'm going to orient this exactly like the little sheet. I'm going to put one down here on the bottom. That's where things are going to come rolling into, most likely. I'll press that in. This is the part where my horrendously strong little hands can sometimes snap things. So I'm going to be very careful and not do that. And now I'm going to put one right here. I'll attempt to do so. And if I do snap them, I do have extras. I have some 3D printed ones and some ones that I have purchased. And now we've got two coming into the top. And this is where they'll come out and roll down the track. So pretty fun that there's two exits on these. The other fun thing about Spacerail and why I think this will be fun for my little learning to skate better project is there'll be all kinds of ways to tune these. So now I need to put in those little plastic protecting windows. Okay. I'm going to use this as a paperweight as I rummage through. There they are. I really do like this little teeny tiny one. I haven't put together a teeny tiny one before, so this is actually quite fun. Okay, so we need to put the elevator stand. It says the steel ball will flip out its orbit if the speed of entering into elevator too fast. All right, we'll take your word for it. So there's two of these, and there's two specific spots. They're going to come into there and then here. And that makes sense actually, because these are two returns and it's on the right side. The left side will be taken by the spiral. So, and those actually fit in really nicely. I'm pleased with that. Okay, off we go. On to the next page. Okay. So this is telling us something we already know, which I'm always glad to hear. I'm going to put this little elevator out of the way, as I would be super sad if we knocked it over. So now what we need to do is set up all of these little rods. And there's not that many of them. I put together 30 of them for the one behind you. So this is actually not that big of a deal. But we want to make sure to do it right. And one of the things that gets confusing about Spacerail is this diagram right here. So front is referring to the front of the whole thing. So that would be this side. Back. And then up is going this way versus down. So if you haven't really thought about this, it can be confusing. So we just have 4 of these adorable little rods to put together. And we want to think, caution the way of back and front. Isn't that true? So what's cool about this is that you're going to be able to see me put these together. I want to make sure too See how that turns? Good to go. All right. So I'll put them on pretty close, but then we'll fine tune them. How about that? And again, this is another part where I need to be careful to just not start breaking things. So that's going to come up here, and that's going to come down here. This is a pretty tight little design, so I'm going to have to be somewhat exacting. Okay, there we go. The cool thing about this too is that it only has this one type of arm. The level 9 one has 3 different types of arms to assemble, which again, super fun. But right now, what I need to be doing is getting into the sensors and the SCADA side of it and making this cute little demo. And then I can expand with my next facility. Okay, so we're going to put the little wrenches in. I checked those. These are pretty close. We can, of course, always modify these later. There we go. You kind of have to pinch them a little bit just to make sure these are going to lock into place. Like little telephone poles. So I was thinking about reprinting all the hardware in clear for these at one point. Might be kind of fun. Is that gonna... I'm gonna change the direction of this one. Just because I don't want it to run into the rail, because that could be a real problem. Okay, A is done. We're gonna try to put these in order. We'll see what happens. I still haven't dumped anything off the back of the desk, so you know we're doing good. Okay, here comes B. So we've got 4 of the little arms on B. The next one looks wild. We got a loop-de-loop, you know. Okay, so, you know, I didn't look to see how long it was going to take to put this together. Oops. I mean, I get tired. And we'll just continue this soon. What time is it? Oh, it's not even 11 yet. Fine. I'll probably stop at 11. So I got another big day tomorrow. And that's good. Okie dokie. Yeah, to be honest, I would love to show this off at a fun event. Okay. And actually, you know, that the white background here actually does seem to be helping. Okay, so now I get to put the little wrenches together. And there we go. Looks like our print's almost done. Okay. So a little bit. I remember, so the Bandai version of these, you really had to pinch them. They were kind of tough. Or my fingers would get sore. These actually, the little wrenches, I think they must have come up with that to solve that problem because they're pretty user friendly. What is he doing up there? All right. Let's make sure these are in the right spot. Okay. A. B. C has got quite a bit on there. And then a little short one. And we will be done. Okay. This is where that loop-de-loop's happening. So that's pretty cool. Okey-dokey. Okey-doke. Upside down, loopity-loopity-loopity-loop. Ah! There we go. And this way. And one more. Let's see. Oh. I was about to twist it around, and it's how I actually already wanted it to be. Okay, so let's check on those. So that's gonna come up a little bit. That's good. That's good. And there. All right, time to get the little wrenches out, and then we're almost done with this part. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Pop these right around. And try not to twist them. We will have to move them around a little bit usually, just because they give you the instructions to like put them on the little pole, but sometimes the angles actually change, or they'll need to be adjusted, and that's fine. All right. See, and last one. This is just a little short one. These make me think of putting together kebabs. Kebabs. I should make some kebabs this summer. Need to sort out the grill situation around here. Just doing a good bit of grilling at the other place I used to live, so I need to do a little more grilling over here. Got a good setup for it. All right, and we're gonna get our little situation set up. Okay. And this will have us really making quite a bit of progress on these. I keep forgetting to, I usually put things together very close in, and I should probably be not doing that here. Okay, so now we have to, step 8. Told you I was fast. Now we have to set up the whole little deal. So we're gonna go from there to there, which is fine. And there's a little connector that comes with this. This is actually pretty cool, kind of aligns things. So, all right. So we'll move our shish kebabs. Shish kebabs. And we're gonna remember. So that's toward the back. This is toward the front. A is gonna go right there. What I love about these is while it has this little tiny footprint, the loops grow out from it, so it's kind of cool. All right, so now we're gonna set up the gearbox. They call it the gearbox. It's the little elevator. And we're gonna make sure to do this right. So we've got an empty hole, and then here, and there's a little kickstand that goes underneath it. Well, actually, we're just going to go ahead and empty that out. So we're going to need this in a minute anyway. Got some tape on it. All right. So we want to make sure to put the little stand on here without dumping it out. Oh, good. Sometimes these don't fit on there as nicely as I'd like them to, but that was nice and solid. That's good. Okay, so that's gonna sit you want it to snap in just, there we go. All right, should just settle down on there nice and easy. We may need to level it, but for now, that's fine. Okay, now B and C. So that's back. B is 1, 2, 3 here, and then C is there. C is 1 from the end, and then put this little stabilizing thingy. In theory, so you know, let me just get a little tiny little file I happen to have nice and handy. I'm just gonna just open that up just a little bit, especially that one. It's not a nice sound, is it? I'm curious. The other end is more open? Not really. Well, that's good. So there's B. Okay. B. 1, 2. Right there. Well, I may hit those. The Dremel tomorrow. Because that is not going to fit in the way that it is. And there's that. Oh boy. Certainly needs a little bit of help. All right, we will deal with that tomorrow, because I am not going to fire up the power tools down here tonight. That just is not neighborly of me. And there, you put up enough of my shenanigans. Oh my gosh, why can't I get this stuff on there? Wait. There. There. Okay. Ah. Well, that was good because now it's super solid. And D, the last little one. There. And it just simply fits. Right like that. Okay. Cool. And now the madness begins. Actually, let's see. My 3D print is almost done. So we may just get a little view of the situation here and finish this up later in the week. So a lot of this is kind of do's and don'ts with the cross ties and the rail. Oh, cool. So showing you how to slow things down before the corner. And banking it. I was recently in another state, and they did not bank their exits like I like. Very flat exits. I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah, nice rental car too. I was kind of like, hey. Alright. So other things we need to keep in mind. Side elevation. Keep the loops round. And you want to keep things parallel. You don't want them all wumpously, right? Or wobbly. And see, those are some of the places that we're going to need to adjust, which is all good. And coming into the rail. Oh, it's been a long day. I will wait out that print though. So the first thing we're going to do, elevator, exit, and the loop. Oh my gosh. We're going to start with the loop. I don't know if I have the energy for that right now. Let's see. I do like how they show the overview of it. It is flipped a little bit though. Well, it is and it isn't. It's an interesting way of visualizing these. On the plus side, I need to see the length that we need, because on the other ones, it tells you how long to cut the rail pieces. I don't see that here. Rail included 2 starts. Because if you try to do it without trimmed, like if you, well, maybe I should look and see. No? It's only 2 ends. Well, that's never going back on that. Let's see if it glows, actually. The camera's not going to like this, but... well, maybe we need to charge it up a little more. And it's kind of glowing. It's glowing more for the camera than it is in here, but we will see. Let's see here. All right. This isn't that long. What I don't want to do is cut a bunch of it and then have it be the wrong length and then have to stick it together, because yeah, you can, and there's little connectors for that, but it's never really quite the same. Okay. So this is coming from there. I'm so surprised I haven't like dropped things off of the table yet. So it's going to come out there. It's going to come through here. Make sure these are tight. One of the reasons that these sometimes do fail is because they twist out of place. And you want to make sure that they don't do that. So I'm going to come around the corner. Oh, I do wish it had told me how long this is going to be, because then I can cut too. Normally I would just set this up on the floor. That's going to be a tight curve, so we're going to want to bank that a little bit. Oh, there's my printer. Okay. I'll do there. Alright. Oh, those look nice. This came out well. You know, that might just be nature telling me it's time to take a break for the night and then look up on the internet how long I need to cut this for, so that I don't have to wrangle this big coily thingy. But I appreciate you watching, and I will be back later, because I'm pretty sure we can complete this whole thing in one more sesh. So I'm going to pop this out just so it doesn't get a weird curve in it. There we go. Alright, I mean, it already has a weird curve in it. Well, anyway, see you next time, as I remember which computer this is streaming from.